What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be talking about the best $500 I've ever spent on a handgun. You guys liked the video that I did about the best $230 I ever spent on a handgun, being the Stoeger STR 9 Subcompact. Once again, if you know me, you would know this would not be on the screen in any situation, scenario, or case as being a best purchase. Now, a lot of people like the X Macro, a lot of people like that handgun, but in my opinion, I have my standards for what I like. I have my opinions on what I like and what I like to carry. And this right here is the best $500 I've ever spent. Now, let me rephrase that. I love the Glock 26, and that's about a $500. So that is obviously the best $500 I ever spent when I got the Glock 26s. But in terms of handguns being way underpriced, this right here is the best $500 I've ever spent. This was $500 on PSA with a rebate. So it came with 2 mags, 9 rounds, because it is in 40. So it was 9 plus 1. And the rebate gave me 4 backup mags. I got 6 mags and an HK P2000 SK chambered in 40, which I love 40. One of my favorite rounds to shoot. I have tons of 40 stockpiled, tons of hollow points. I love it. I love that people are going away from 40, going away from 357 SIG, going away from 45 ACP, because it makes it cheaper and it makes handguns like this really sell for cheap. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Today we will be talking about this HK. Now, I was on PSA not looking for an HK. I had an HK on my list. It was not this handgun, but then I saw it was a daily deal marked down from $1,000. And like I told people, if this was $1,000 and I saw it up there, probably not going to get it. I'm just being honest with you guys. That's expensive. But the fact that it was on sale for $500 for one of their daily deals caught my eye, and I'm like, I have to get this. I have to pull the trigger. No pun intended. Now, yeah, that was sort of cheesy. That was lame. Anyways, and the reason why I wanted an HK is because a lot of people want to see it for review. I was going to get the P30 SK. But because of the price, plus it's in 40, so I can convert this to 9mm, and I can also convert this to 357 SIG. Absolutely unreal if I can do that, which you can with a 40 barrel. Now, when I first got it, it was a weird handgun. As you can see, something you got to get used to is that paddle release. But I actually really like the paddle release. I'm not sure why it is, but I like the paddle release. It flings that mag, it launches it, it shoots it, as you can see. And the firearm is completely cleared and safety checked. What I like about this handgun is how everything just functions so smooth and the way it should, and feels just, it just feels right. I don't know why, it just feels the way it should. For instance, the mag launches. That slide is like butter on glass. I mean, it's just smooth as can be. That slide release, nice little lever. This one does stick out a little bit, but I mean, you would have to have a really odd shooting grip in order to. As grip is, you will be fine. You will not accidentally bump that. Then right here you have a decocker, because who wants to carry with this amazing trigger as your first trigger pull, right? Too crisp, too clean. Carry, in my opinion. Reset is long, but very clean and predictable. That is how you carry it, right? So you drop the hammer. You did have a single action trigger pull. Now you have a long, not too heavy, but you have a long trigger pull. Very predictable, as we can do that again. Very predictable, very clean, and it barely moves the handgun. A lot of people, when they're shooting a long double action trigger pull, it sort of throws the handgun as they're pulling it. But as you can see, the way they designed it, the handgun goes nowhere when you're pulling that trigger. It's just natural. And the reach from here to here feels really good. Now they gave you extra back straps, which have really good texturing on them, because you'll realize the texturing here does nothing. It's the texturing here and here that literally complete the texturing, and it's actually pretty decent, right? And another thing you're going to say is, look at that odd grip. You notice that's fine, but then you see that pinky. And I was trying to understand if they meant for the firearm to be used like this, but I don't think so. I think the point of that is to lock that pinky really in there. Even though it looks awkward, it feels pretty good. And it does lock that hand in there for the power of that 40 or 357 SIG or 9mm, whatever you plan on carrying. So I actually really like it. At first, it felt really odd. It felt like the XDM with that magwell that's sort of in the way. but then you grip the handgun the way you're supposed to and it feels actually pretty decent. So I would like to see them put out a flush base plate like that. But I do get why they give you that little lip just to hold everything in there and put nice and tight. Now, obviously, it does come with a rail. Holster options are plentiful, so you don't need to worry about that. And then there is no safety on this. The safety is that double action trigger pull. There's no manual safety. There is no trigger safety because that trigger is so so hard. When you decock it, nothing in the world is going to accidentally pull something all that way that is that heavy. It's just not going to happen. So this gun is 100% safe to carry and about as solid as can be. Now, why an HK? Why is this the best $500? I know this handgun will probably be passed down to my son in perfect condition, perfect working order with tens of thousand rounds through it, not a single issue. I can already tell. Everything just functions. When you shoot this handgun, the way the slide goes back and forward, just the overall feel of it, the recoil is so minimal. It's just a smooth shooting handgun. And people are going to say, oh, 9 plus 1 of 40, that's lame. I don't care. 9 plus 1 of 40, 10 rounds of 40. If you give me 10 rounds of 40, I am landing every one of those rounds. I don't care. Every one. Fast shooting, long double action, first trigger pull. Everything will be sitting there. That whole magazine plus one. I kid you not. This handgun is accurate, it's smooth, and it's a very nice shooting handgun the way it handles recoil with that thick, heavy slide. Now, a major complaint to people would be the width. For instance, here's a Hellcat that's unloaded as well. It makes it look really thick up top. Here's a Glock 43X. It makes it look pretty thick. But overall, it is a pretty small overall package. But the thing I like about subcompacts are they're small, comfortable to carry, but at the same time, stuff like this that's thick and heavy has great shootability. So this is your middleman between a Micro 9 and a compact. Still has capacity, still takes larger mags, still has great recoil impulse, still has great handling, but at the same time, this thing is just a powerhouse. It's a tank. Now the finish on it is really, really good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't give off like the best look. It's sort of like the Springfield Armory, right? It has that like plain look to it, but at the same time it just shows scratches. That's it. It's not going to rust. You're not going to have issues carrying every single day for hours at a time, and then you get home and your firearm's rusted, because that drives me crazy. And the fact that it happens to a lot of SIGs absolutely drives me crazy. But this handgun right here has been awesome. 3-dot metal sights. I do need to swap those out for night sights. Haven't carried this a whole lot, but when I do carry it, it's very easy to conceal, very small when it comes to this direction right here. This is all you have to worry about concealing. It sits nice and tight up against your body for a good, clean, even draw while still concealing. So the HK P2000 SK is a brick. It is a tank. It is heavy, but it's one of those handguns that you could buy now and still be shooting in 40, 50 years like it was nothing. This handgun's absolutely amazing. Love this thing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.